Listen, I think everybody in the agency space is just confused. They don't know how to build a simple agency. In this, we'll call it a tell-all workshop slash exclusive masterclass, I sit down with my buddy, Quinn Nolan, and we talk about how he's built an agency that he barely has to work in anymore, that he's so good at what he does that his customers want to start partnering with him and sharing profits with him on their business, and how he does it all with a tiny library of ads. And not only that, we tell you how you can do the same, and not just a broad, hey, here's a story about how you can do it. We walk you through step by step on tactically how to do that. So this video is here to help you learn how to create an agency that can clone your customers and outcomes so you can make money every single month. If you like this content, if you like other agency facing content like this, like, subscribe, get notification, all that kind of stuff, because we're pushing out stuff like this every single week. And my goal is to build more agencies who live the lifestyle that they really wanted to, and we get rid of all the Me Too marketers. So enjoy this case study with Quinn Nolan. All right, what's up, everybody? Hey, I'm here with my buddy Quinn Nolan. We're going to be covering today how to build a small library of ads, okay? And a library of ads that you can resell over and over and over again. The title of this video is Create It Once, Sell It 1,000 Times, maybe 2,000. I don't know if you're lucky. You can sell a whole bunch of thousands of times. But Quinn, let me do a quick little intro for you, just so people who are unfamiliar with you have an idea of the agency that you've built. You've been an UpHex user for now 2 years, is that right?
Yeah, probably 2 years.
Yeah, for a while. And you have your own YouTube channel, which we'll link somewhere around the video here. But you talk a lot about just building simple templates that work, that get an outcome, and that make it so your end customer can achieve awesome results. And a lot of people, when they build their agencies, they think they're these big, crazy, complex things. And in fact, that kind of works against them. So you built an agency. Tell us about, in terms of your agency, describe what it looks like. I kind of call you a lifestyle agency. You're an agency of one. At least last time we talked, maybe you have an employee, but you should have an employee by now, bro.
Yeah, they're working on some of that.
Yeah, but you're a one-man show. And describe your agency to the viewer.
Yeah, my agency is super specific. So I work with real estate investors and wholesalers that want to flip properties, or what's called wholesale those properties. And so I basically find motivated homeowners who need to sell their house. And so knowing that that's the core demographic that I'm targeting, I really have just designed my entire fulfillment process, like what I give to the customer, around that objective. And I really don't include anything else that isn't beneficial to that outcome. I don't build websites. I don't build, pipelines or any sort of review request automations, or a lot of the features that are out there. I really just focus on getting their leads into my Go High Level system, and using an AI booking bot, and or reactivating leads that they've already generated for their business. And so yeah, it's a really niched offer where it's really just about lead generation, appointment generation, and like the client closing deals. So I have two main offers. One, the client can run their own ads using UpHex through my Go High Level, where they can choose from the library of templates, which we'll talk about, launch their own ads, and then those leads that are generated from the ads will automatically go through the automation sequence I have. So I charge, at the time of this recording, $297 a month for that offer. And funnily enough, I'm seeing a trend from the content that I create on YouTube, because I create content to get actual clients. It's actually my number one lead or client source at this time. And I'm just continuing to see a trend of people wanting to learn how to do these types of, skills, and they want to have control. So my offer, fits really nicely with what, the trend that I'm observing with people wanting to control their own ad spend, not pay like a high retainer to an agency, and just kind of have some sort of like, agency manage it all. So I have that offer, and then I also still do done for you services for that's same, it's literally the same niche, same offer, same ads. It's just the mechanism's different. One, I'll do the ads and manage those, which is literally just installing the UpHex campaign. So I use UpHex for my own campaigns, because I just literally have the same ads that work. Like I'm sure that's part of what we're going to talk about, but it's like I don't even think. Like, the thinking that I do with the client is on the call before they sign up. Like, if they have the budget, if they have the markets that I know will work, like, the thinking is done there. I don't like sign them up and then think about what to do to fulfill
Yeah.
it. And I think that's the key. So that's what I do.
Yeah. And just to hit some highlights, uh, current revenue and profit margins, are you kind of at where you were at before, or where are you at in terms
Yeah,
of?
I think at the last recording I was at like 25,000. Now I'm at like 18,000, but part of what I'm doing now is I've partnered with a client, a top client of mine. And one, we're doing some deals together. It's actually been more simple to just partner with a client where, like, it's so easy. I just stay in my lane and do what I do. He does what he does. And so so agency like revenue of like selling the product has dropped, but I'm getting into partnerships, with
Wow.
people that I feel like are yeah, I really see the value in what I do. And that's a whole other kind of video. But yeah, I mean, I've been able to live like a lifestyle kind of agency, like you said, where I love the people I work with. I legitimately enjoy like what I do. I'm not putting out fires. I'm not all the stuff I see people
So
say, like I
are
don't.
you now going to be participating in the profit end of these transactions?
Yeah, and that's where, so like the
Okay, that's what we're talking
revenues
about. Yeah.
itself have dropped of like me selling the actual thing, but
Yeah.
I have the client I've partnered with, he has been a client for like 8 months with the done for you offer. And I'm pretty sure if I look at the campaign history, I've left that campaign freaking running like the whole time, like maybe some slight iterations, but I mean, I have campaigns I've left for months and they're still churning. So organically that relationship evolved where, I've been doing this for 8 years, and I've always just uh ran the ads, but I found some people that are, we can benefit each other through, like me providing what I provide, but I mean, this guy's closed over
Yes.
600 wholesale deals, so he really knows what he's doing, and so we're partnered on that. And yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
it's it's sick.
Well, so one of the reasons I wanted to do this video with you specifically is you've been able to achieve a level of simplicity that I think too many agency owners don't understand they should be trying to go after. Like, I feel like, for example, high level, I think published, they have over 300 features. Okay. Layer UpHex on top of that. Right now we have even more things going on. There is too many plates to spin and too many options to pursue. Right. And the reason I wanted to get on with you was, one, to maybe paint the picture first of what you did before you figured out this model. And for the viewer, the reason I want to do that, guys, is not because we want to just spend all this time talking about how bad you're doing, but there are patterns that people who are newer pretty much all do. Like,
Yeah.
they all do the same thing, and they get stuck in this rut, and they can't get past either getting clients or getting past revenue or whatever. They all do this, until they figure out there's a couple of really pillar things that if you just do those, you'll win. Okay. So I want to start there. And then for the viewer, we've got some stuff for you that you're going to want to stick around to the end for, because we're going to show you tactically how to achieve the product version of what Quinn has achieved in a process that we have been able to kind of deep dive and deconstruct at UpHex. So before you were able to hit this simple model, and you just explained it, UpHex to run your ads, high level to nurture them, and then conversational AI to book them to the appointment, right? That's basically the model.
Yeah,
Before
that's
you
all I
did
use.
that, yeah, that's all you do. So before that, what were some of the things that you did that maybe somebody told you to do, maybe you thought you should do, but were just over complications of what people actually want?
Yeah, I think the tip of the sphere of the complexity is serving multiple types of niches
Yeah.
or people, whatever somebody wants to call it. I think that opens the door to the complexity, because even if you still provide the exact same offer, like lead generation, appointment booking, and, you know, even if you just simplify it into those two things, like, you're always, like, especially when you're brand new, the first kind of the first breakthrough that you have when you're starting an agency is like, can I actually deliver this result? Because it's cool to like hear about the model and that you can make money and do stuff, but when you actually see firsthand, like, your work can actually impact somebody's business where they are happy to continue to pay you for what you're doing, like, that's when all the doors like open up for you, because you realize, like, I can get paid and do these things or hire somebody to do these things, and people will be happy with the actual service. And so before that, though, you don't know that. So you're kind of, you know, watching videos of other people or courses to like see that that's potentially a reality. So what happened to me, I can't speak for anyone else, but what happened to me is I had the like idea that it could work, but it wasn't true for me yet. So I just said yes to everything. So when I
Yeah.
said yes to everything, or didn't have a clear strategy to like reach out to people, this was before the space was what it is now. There was no how to design the offer. Like, now people already know this intellectually, even if they're newbies. Like, they literally know more about the business model than I think I even knew when I started. Like,
Yeah.
so I just took on multiple types of niches, is how I would call it. I worked with real estate agents. I worked with mortgage loan officers. I worked with agents that wanted buyer leads, seller leads. So eventually, I was at probably $8,000 to $10,000 a month, but I essentially had 6 different systems that I was managing and trying to figure out. So that was like the first thing, and then, long story short, I started to distill that it really came down to lead generation, which is driving traffic, some sort of funnel, and then now we have the AI booking bot. And so I've really just kept that same framework as like the core of the offer for the last, specifically really niche the last like 4 years. And the breakthrough that I had was I started working with an investor, and I took the same things that I had learned through those other clients, which was driving traffic with ads, some sort of funnel, and then there was no AI booking bot at the time. But
Right.
um, basically, he made $600,000 profit in 2021. I he was I still work with him to this day. He's been paying reoccurring for essentially 4 years for a done for you service, which is pretty rare for
Yeah.
agencies, I would say.
Yeah.
But I just saw that he was a great client. He had the budget, and it just, like, I didn't even need to talk to him a lot to like get him the result. And so from that moment forward, I just started saying no to different projects, and I just niched down to
Yeah.
finding motivated sellers, and then, right. So that's kind of what I did. And then I don't know if I should mention how UpHex came in, or we should leave it there for now, but that's essentially the process. I didn't have a niche. I jumped around and I was essentially doing the same work. I do less work now. Um, it's, if people saw the work I do, they would think I'm maybe a criminal or
Well,
something.
well, yeah. Did your parents say, "Hey, what are you doing, man? Is this legal?" Well, and if you look at it too, the more you do something, the better you get at it. Now
Yeah.
you're starting to participate on the profit, on the upside, on the back end of the deal. Yeah, we'll talk about UpHex here in a second, but I think these videos, the reason I make these videos, the only reason that this channel exists is because I'm trying to pass on information worth knowing.
Yeah.
And the lesson here is, if you take clients from a whole bunch of different niches, how will you ever achieve outcomes for all of them? You just can't, right? That's not the way the marketplace works. So finding a sub niche, I have heard other people say, "Oh, you don't need a niche, you can work with that." No, well, here's when you can. If you're a website builder, for example, like, okay, I build websites. Well, if you get paid one time for a website, sure, I can do plumbers, I can do roofers, I can do whatever, because they all want different custom work. So if you want to get paid for doing custom work, sure, work with anybody who needs commodity products. We're talking about building a productized agency and something that scales and something that delivers outcomes. Websites, many times, the outcome the person wants is, "Hey, I need a presence on the internet and I'd like it to look prettier than what I can do with Wix myself," right? But if you're trying to build an agency, you need to pick a niche. I can't say it any stronger than that. And I will just say, I'll back this up one more time, then we'll move on. All of the very top producing niches. And if you look through the UpHex YouTube channel, all of our case studies, every single case study is niche specific. Joey LaRonde, he's financial planners. Michael Dooley, he's automotive. The Ursel brothers, they're med spas. Mine was chiropractic, but we even went deeper into spinal decompression, neuropathy clinics, right?
Yeah.
The only way to scale is to make uniform the inputs, meaning the client inputs are the same, my ad inputs are the same. Okay. And if you do that, then your product is more simple, which leads me to the next thing. You have an ad library that you created for your niche. And didn't you say you have like 5 templates that you just sell over and over and over again?
Yeah. I mean, they're all the same template too. Like,
Yeah.
they're just different. It's 5. It's the more accurate way to describe it is it's 5 different ad images, but they all have the same ad copy. Like,
Yeah.
it's and that's where all the deals have come from. Like, I think, yeah. So yeah, it's very simple. And part of it just is experience too, because I work with some people too, or we're connected more one-on-one, and like I see the same tendency of like they just haven't experienced it, and so they just don't think that they can't fathom that they should leave that ad alone. And I get it. I mean, I was there at one point too. I mean, I would change ads on the fly. I mean, you
Yeah.
should have seen me. There was no logic to what I was doing. Oh, shoot, this ad didn't get a lead today. The client told me
Change
that
something.
the lead
Yeah.
sucks. Okay, I switch it out. I'm making a whole new funnel. I'm making a whole new thing. And I just made a mess essentially. But yeah, I mean, I literally can launch a done for you client. The client, obviously, if they do it themselves, they're responsible to do it. But I mean, I can launch a done for you client, I mean, literally in like 20 minutes. The part that takes the longest is A2P. Like, that's the part I can't control.
Yeah.
But I mean, someone can pay. For the done for you, I've just started using our own internal ad accounts, just because clients don't even care. They don't even know what a pixel is. All the stuff I used to care about, no one even cares. So I
Yeah.
just plug in their card to already seasoned ad account that we own, and I literally link it to the UpHex. I click on the internal template that I have. It has all the best ad copy and stuff. It launches, and then, it's linked to the sub account, and I mean, it's done. I mean, it's
It's
done.
done.
It's
Okay, so after you've because what you described was onboarding, right? So you're doing onboarding in 20 minutes. But
I'm
after you,
actually,
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, it's funny. The process is I do the call and I create the projection of what I think the leads will be in appointments, because I know my numbers pretty well
Yeah.
because I stick to the niche. And so I can give them a projection, and then I just send an email that has a link to the contract, a link to pay, which creates their sub account. And then now I just have a A2P form that they fill out, and then I plug it into their sub account. And then I just message them like we're ready to go. Like I don't do an onboarding call. That's my internal fulfillment of like launching it, but I'm not even needing to do calls at this point. I just I I just don't like, I don't know. Like I think
No.
that's why I gravitate to the model. Like I just know that there's so much efficiency in software and tools. So like
Yeah.
there's no point of the call. Like it's just
You
I can
know,
figure out how to do it without it.
when you say efficiency, I think that I want to just draw attention there for just a second. The reason you can achieve efficiency is because of simplicity, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If 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 you are an agency and you're trying to say, okay, we're going to set up their missed call text back. We're going to do a review automation campaign. We're going to do a reactivation campaign. We're going to do a checklist of all these things. It is not streamlined because
Yeah.
you only need one of those things to break or to not work or to fill in the blank before you have a customer complaint, a support error, or something that you didn't need in the first place,
Yeah.
you know? So you're just saying, hey, you guys want to get more, in your case, deals, more investments, more houses sold or bought, whatever. Use this ad, plug into this system, and do this. Go on vacation. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I get why people chase these things, because in theory it sounds good. It makes sense. Every business in some way does need those components to like have a fundamentally sound business. Maybe not everything, but it makes sense. Like have a good website. It makes sense that people could submit a chat form on your site if they can't, if they don't want, like all of it makes sense. Like I could reactivate my leads. I should have more reviews. Like I get it. I think what I was humbled by, and really what grounded me, is that we all have limited time and energy and focus. And so unless you're committed to creating the infrastructure required to master all of those elements, like I like mastery. So
Yeah.
if I'm not committed to setting the infrastructure up to like have somebody if the review thing goes off, or have somebody to do like I'm not going to make it. And so there's enough challenges in getting text messages to sometimes go through A2P. So I'd rather have those two really confined spaces, right, where I'm managing problems, than like 10 times more. And I'd rather just get more clients than
Yeah.
try to like go super wide with people. So yeah, the simplicity is it's a discipline. I mean, I always see stuff and oh,
A
okay, and
discipline.
I go back. I like
Yeah.
no, like, and it's always, yeah, you get exactly what you think about and what you create. So if you start entertaining that idea, you're just going to start hearing it more. You
Yep.
start dabbling. So I have to understand your business is a mirror of you. So if you keep it clean in your mind and organized, and you accept the client that can get results with it, like you'll have that peace. But you start doing things just to make some money, I mean, you'll get exactly that, where damn, now you got to stop what you're doing to go fix a brand new thing. that will only happen to that one client because you did one custom work. You know,
Yeah.
it's
And my theory on why almost every agency falls into the trap that you just described, it all starts out because they don't have a specific enough customer, right? Um,
yeah,
and
yeah, totally.
I think that the very nature of work, and you don't understand this when it's happening to you, right? The very nature of you choosing a realtor, a loan officer, a doctor, and like, oh, we'll just take anybody that wants leads, right? Um, if you do that, you don't know why everything after that one choice is complicated, is just stressing you out, and you don't understand. But if you had one customer, you're like, dude, I did really good, like you did. I did really good with that one investor. I want to find that guy again because there's a lot of that guys. Just do, and just clone it and go, clone it.
It's
Go.
that breakthrough that you're saying. Like, I tell anyone watching, at one point I did not believe it was possible to, like, not even didn't believe. I was so you know, people see me now or whatever and think something. I mean, dude, I could not be convinced that I could have one niche, one offer. There, I did not believe it. I didn't believe it. It wasn't real. And the moment I remember, I'll never forget. I had four people on the same offer on the same price. Like, it was crazy to me because I was doing a custom project, and I just remember I went like a month where I was just checking in with them, but they weren't even responding and they were all getting results. And I was doing like the least amount of work. And
Yeah.
that was basically when I knew that, like, you actually can clone like clients, like you can. And that's why now, yeah, I just set someone up because it's the same markets, it's the same budget, it's the same funnel, and you can. So
And it's the same ads. So let's go back to the ads. And then you guys, as soon as we do this, I'll walk you through
yeah,
how you can duplicate what Quinn has achieved. I'll show you the steps to do it yourself. Um, so you can clone everything, including ads. So talk to me about that process, that journey, and how you did that in yours, because you got five.
yeah, it's yeah. I mean,
It's
and I
crazy.
could probably go in and remove them, some of them, and no one would even.
I could get it down to from five to
I'm
three
always thinking of what can I,
removal.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the process was essentially, one, I got actual results with the ads that are now templates. And so I just took the framework of like, okay, what commonalities or patterns do I see in the ads, which is essentially what you're going to show. I didn't have the information you're going to share in the same way because you have all the data of all these people succeeding with the ads. So it's basically what you're going to show in a way was what I kind of was piecing together. There's a
Yeah.
pattern to the success of the ads. And once I figured out what those elements were, I really just started creating variations of the same thing. And I would test them with clients with done for you work because this was before I even switched and had a SaaS model. And so I would just run those with clients. And if it started getting leads, if all the marketing metrics lined up,
Yeah.
then I felt that it was a viable template. And so um, I see the client dashboard. I mean, when someone launches a template, it works. Like,
It just
it's,
works.
yeah.
It works. It's awesome. So again, the title of this video is "Create It Once, Settle 1,000 Times." You have created a small library of ads once, and I'm guessing you make optimizations to them over time, but not obsessing over them. Is that an accurate statement? Have you
The
not changed?
truth,
You don't change anything.
the truth. Um, yeah, I would say I haven't edited live versions, but I have added or incorporated things I usually take what I'm doing and done for you, and that's where I'll do more of the experimentation,
Okay.
because I can monitor it
Just to see
live.
if you can beat the control.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But you can't. Why would
Yeah,
you? Why would
it's
you?
just some, I don't know, maybe you know the answer to that, what somebody has to experience or believe for them to understand like this is proven. But I mean, when you actually find something that's proven and you see clients have success from it, I mean, I
Do you
just
do you know what
it's
changed it for me? What
what?
changed it for me was one time I heard Dan Kennedy say, he goes, everybody thinks that direct response marketers, like the greats, okay, the Eugene Schwartz, the John Carltons, the Gary Bencivenga, Gary
Yep.
Halbert, he thinks that they just had a gifted pen, right? Is how
Mm,
I've heard it said. And they could just write words that were so good that they could sell anything. And he
mm,
said, that's not how the direct response guys did it. What they would do is they had these list brokers. Okay. And so this was before internet and everything. So the list brokers would have actual physical mailing addresses and they would find out these different things that people were buying. Okay. So if people were buying these different electronics or whatever, a buyer, if you identify a buyer of whatever category it is, you want to strike while that iron is hot. And so they would get lists of people who had bought stuff. And
mm,
then the copywriter, their real job was market research.
mm.
And so they would do, that's where you have, what are those tests called? Like, where they bring in a group of people and they're like, hey, what do you want? What's that called?
I can't, I know what you're referring to though, but
Yeah, like a customer survey or whatever. So they would
yeah.
do that research and then they would go to product creators and they would say, hey, we did the
Uh,
research. This is what they want. Create this product. Then they sold it. They knew the offer before they lifted a
yeah.
pen,
Yeah.
right? And that is
That's so
so
true.
it basically flipped the equation in reverse. Instead of creating a product instead of finding a
Yep.
product for a
Yeah.
market, you find a market. No, I'm sorry. Instead of finding a market for your product, you find a product for your market.
Yeah, that makes sense. Totally.
So,
That's
um,
well, I
all right.
think it's weird too because people like in what you just said, when you're starting out, it's hard to believe that that's true because a lot of people just run on the emotion of like, I'm trying to get that client, I want to do whatever it takes to get the results versus someone like you with your templates, you're just like, they work and you're not really expending energy. It's just pure logic that like these are proven and people now I think come to me more than anything because they feel that like we're not guessing, we're not
We're
installing
not
some
guessing.
random, and people like that, and I think that's what to strive for is what you're going to show, like let's show them kind of what
Yeah,
makes this, what's the science to it.
that's exactly right. So, you're right. People don't want you to guess with their ad dollars. And by the way, that includes artificial intelligence.
Hmm.
Okay. So people who are like, oh, just use AI to create your ads from scratch every time. That leaves out a big chunk. If you ask the top producers, they'll take a proven ad template over AI created ads all day long.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm calling this document create killer ads. Before we do that, I want to just give you guys a little bit of context on how we achieved this information, right? So UpHex, as you know, last year, I think we did 2023, we did 1.7 million leads. Okay. The average lead cost was $12 and I think 18 cents. Now we have access to all of the performance data that came in through those ad templates and those ad accounts. And what we were able to do this year with AI was identify the pillars of what really drives performance. Okay. And not just any performance. As media buyers and agency owners, myself, and like Quinn, I've got a decade of experience running ads for customers. We already knew what the core things we needed to define and uncover for our AI model. And then we just use the AI to replicate these things. And all of our templates are verified by people too. We put them through the ad template AI, and then people are like saying, okay, cool, this is good, 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 verified. All right. So this process, these are like the 5 pillars of what every proven template needs. Now, I'm going to walk you guys through this. And as I do that, understand one, definitely learn from what we're doing here. This is not complex. This is just doing it right. And two, we have a library of ads that match this criteria already. And we'll talk about that here in a second. Okay. So, and it's funny, we didn't go through this before we talked today. The first thing that you talked about was a niche. Okay. And this
True.
is the number one foundational pillar of high performing killer ads. If you guys want to have ads that are durable, 5 ads that you can sell over and over and over again and hardly make any changes to and feel like you're dealing drugs because you're making money so easy by selling those, you have to start out with a niche. Okay. Now, right here, I say, I define the reason I have this, Quinn, is because when people say a niche, they don't really understand, from my experience and in conversations, they don't really understand what a niche is. Because, and here's an example, right? A niche, realtors are not a niche. Buyer's agent would be a niche because that's more specific to the outcome people want. But first-time home buyers, now that's what I call a sub niche. Okay. The outcomes that you can promise to a real estate agent that works with first-time home buyers is a lot more specific than one you can do to a person who serves every real estate agent. I don't care if they're jumbo loan people looking like to sell these bajillion-dollar homes or they're first-time home buyers. If you start out with this right here, it is really easy to identify motivation in an audience. Okay. So right here, I say specificity makes outcomes more believable. All right. And for me personally, I learned this, just anecdotally for myself. I was a loan originator trying to get business from all these realtors. None of them wanted to do business with me. But the second I found a lady who was a first-time home buyer agent, that's all she worked with, and her customer base were all Hispanic and I speak Spanish, I called her, I said, hey, Christina, if you have people who speak Spanish, they need first-time home buyer loans, like these government programs, that's exactly what I do. And that's the only thing I do. She's like, boom, 5 deals that day. Right. And everybody thinks that, oh, well, you had a good offer. I didn't. This was before any of my marketing education at all. I fell backwards into a formula that as soon as I spoke specific to a very specific prospect on a very specific outcome, it just worked. It was like a tuning fork. It just resonated. And in the marketplace, when you speak to categories, you speak in, if we were to say like, you speak in noise terms, everything is noisy. When you speak to the sub niche, it's music, right? So just understand, first step is to make sure that your audience is super dialed in. Quinn, your audience, tell them what your audience is again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I had a category and then a niche, but even now I've like within my sub niche, like
Yeah.
I'm even finding these components that are like, that is actually who it really is. So I would say the category, which was at one point where I was kind of operating from, was like a real estate investor.
Okay.
And then the niche I kind of then began to find, because there's investors that will buy properties to flip them. There's investors that will buy them to, or will buy them to keep them. There's Section 8 real estate invest. There's like a list of niches in real estate investing. But what I found now is like I actually work with category real estate investor. The niche would be called a wholesaler or virtual wholesaler. But then like the sub niche within that is virtual wholesalers that are wholesaling in 5 or more different states, because
Yeah.
that's when my ads take off. And that's
Yeah.
like that right there. I mean, that took me 8 years essentially to get it to that point, because now I'm like in my messaging and I'm making certain adjustments where I'm like, dude, if somebody says they're a investor, virtual wholesaler, and they're targeting 5 or more states, and they have like a certain budget on ads, and they've closed deals, like I can like almost guarantee like they're going to close deals with me.
Yeah.
And it's all because of what you said, because if I say investors, it's like, well, I'm an investor. I
Yeah.
have 10 properties that I Airbnb. That's not what I
That's
do with
not,
ads.
yeah, you can't help that person, right?
Yeah,
That's not your
exactly.
business. That's not your strategy. And then funny, because you said you started like 8 years ago. Nobody could teach us this. Nobody was teaching this,
I
right?
couldn't fight my way out of a paper bag 8 years ago.
uh, and then I have a quote for you guys. You can't motivate people to buy. You can only identify the motivation and sell to that, right? So that's really what we're accomplishing at that step. So step 1 is identify a sub niche. Step 2 is your image hook. Okay. Now I do have next to these different principles, these different pillars, an actual attached metric. Now in Quinn's case, every niche, but so this is broadly speaking, okay? Because UpHex covers, I don't know how many niches, geez, a lot. But this is a formula that we had in my agency. Yours, Quinn, might be different. The broad point here is if you're watching this and you're like, hey, we want to establish our own benchmarks for performance, this is where you can start and you can adjust based on what you learn. So image hook. So the image is the first thing that you need to worry about in an ad. Okay. And here's what we put in. This is what we've learned in experience, and then just in what the AI actually learned about our top performing ads is number 1, images that tell a story. Okay. And you guys, a picture says 1,000 words. Now, depending on your niche, and I'll give you an example. Depending on your niche, generally speaking, you want to make your visuals or your videos based on, and I would say most in lead generation, just go with images. It's the easier way to go, and it totally works. It's great. You're not reinventing the wheel all the time. Is either images that direct to the pain or images that direct to the outcome. And an example of this would be in the chiropractic space, which I was in. The images that performed well for back pain showed back pain. They didn't show people running down the beach, being all happy and all this kind of stuff, right? They showed the pain. But if I was in the med spa space, and I'm selling body contouring or something like that, I want to show outcomes, right? And so whatever niche you're in, the visuals are going to be nuanced to that, but generally they're going to fall into one of those 2 columns, the pain or the outcome. One other thing that I put in here is demonstration or proof. Depending on, again, what niche you're in, demonstration is amazing. We had in my niche, we had a device that it was called a shockwave device, and it made a really unique sound. And whenever we would demo that on a shoulder or a knee, right? And so that in that case, we did use video, but it didn't matter if they were in Idaho or California, right? It didn't matter. And the patient didn't even matter, right? It just mattered that we were demonstrating the solution because the solution was unique, it was novel, and it had incredible outcomes, right? So image or visuals need to be based on these things. Now, here's the real. And actually, I'm going to put you on the hot spot here, Quinn. Okay. Tactically speaking, what you as an agency are going to be doing is testing. Testing is the tactical approach to achieving a control performance, like that's your metric, okay, on all visual creative. Never assume that you know what images or videos are going to work. Even though we talked about pain and outcome and demonstration, that's just your best judgment. What you will find is when you find a visual that works, it will work for a long time. So testing is a tactical approach. Talk to me about your testing for visuals.
Yeah, so I found that to test effectively, that you have to keep the experiment as simple as possible. I think so many people like think they're testing and they're not. They're like
Right.
testing an audience, testing a placement, testing the
Yeah.
image it, right? And so it's like they think they're doing something. And so I think that's step one is like, if you are deciding to test the image, only test the image. And you have
Yes.
to do that properly by making sure everything else is constant. So once you decide on that and you actually implement that, the actual like creative process that I would say that I go through in terms of testing the images specifically is one, um, for my specific niche, it makes a difference to have more relevant images of real estate because that's what
Yeah.
I do. So if I do an ad in California and the ad is in, a general area versus ad images that are, like of real estate from another state or something like that, it doesn't perform as well. Like a relevant image to that market, and essentially it's a sub niche or a niche, right? Because there's the geographic area, then they're homeowners, and then they're homeowners with a specific problem. Um, that image will resonate more with them. So that's one thing I'll do is like relevant real estate images.
Yeah.
The other thing I found is inside of this sub niche that I mentioned before, there's really specific problems that the homeowner has, like probate. They've inherited the property and they're going through, a passing away of a family member, divorce, right? So, by me caring and actually being in the market and being aware of like how this stuff actually works, like I'm not just a marketer, right? Like I actually understand or do my best to understand the market and like what's going on. So relevant real estate images is one creative process. The other process is refining and testing those specific problems that the homeowners have, like inherited properties, speaking to the actual illustrating that within the image. And it's really just as simple as like putting that word in the ad copy at some point. Like,
Yeah.
um, I've seen that, like going through probate, or even saying like on the image, I've changed it where I've just tested need to sell your property as an image and then need to sell your problem property. And like problem is how somebody's viewing a property that they
Yeah.
would sell at a discount versus need to sell your home. That sounds like I love my home. Like, why would I
Yeah.
sell my home? Right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, images, like relevant real estate images, colors, something as simple as different color schemes can make the difference of just not like that. It shouldn't make or break it entirely if you have the core fundamentals, but you could see improvements between red and blue. Like that could
Yeah.
make a difference, as well as incorporating the problems in the like in the text of the image. So those are like a few things.
So you guys, when I'm testing images, I'm looking for a click-through rate all, okay, of 2%. So that means if you have 1,000 impressions, I want 20 people to stop and look at my ad. All right. So that's what we're looking for. If you're getting too far below that, you need to test more creative. All right. So image hook. Then we go to the actual ad copy. Now, the metric I have is 1% link click-through rate. I'll walk you guys through that here in a second. But here is one really cool thing that we found. And actually, Quinn, you'll have to go back and count how many words are in your ads.
I I'd be very confident that I fit there because our template is very short.
We have found that the optimal ad copy on the actual ad itself, so not the headline, but the actual body copy, is between 70 to 100 words. And there's a huge fall off before and after that number, right? So it needs to be long enough to cover the subject matter, but short enough to keep things interesting, you guys. All right. Needs to flow, be skimmable. Now, this is a big one. Be skimmable. People don't read ads. They skim ads. And then they go into a very predictable ad behavior, which I'm going to show you here in a second. All
Hmm.
right. But what that means for you tactically is you want to use line breaks in your copy. Don't do big blocks of
Yeah.
copy. People aren't going to read it. Okay. And so if this is like, 10th grade English class, sorry, not for you guys. Use punchy language. And I should use speak at a 5th grade level, and actually less than that if you can. Of course
It's all good.
Okay, so use punchy language and speak at a without complexity. Don't use big words, right? And then here's the last thing again, people skim ads, they don't read them. All right. Now, ad flow. This is really important. Do not break ad congruency. Okay? If you cause confusion in a very established ad behavior, you can break the performance of the ad, even if you have winning elements in it. So here's what you're looking for. And I've listed them here in actual order. You're going to go to the attention is the image. Headline, that's where you show the benefit. Ad copy, that's where you bring out curiosity. Call to action, that's where you call them to the desire, and then lead form. Now, I've got an actual visual representation for you guys, okay? So the first thing that they're going to see is the image. Now, in this case, I just threw together a mock-up ad for UpHex. If I was writing a case study ad for UpHex, it would be outcome-based, okay? This is what this guy did in 8 months. That's incredible. That's an incredible outcome. So the first thing that's going to stop people, and the first thing that will stop people in your guys' pipelines, will be the relevancy of the ad to them. All right. In fact, I think we're in good enough. All right. The next thing they're going to do, so they're going to see the visual, then their eyes are actually going to fall down. They're going to fall to the next thing. And my job is to build off, as an agency, is to build off of this attention to the next thing. Get clients with this. And if I expand it, says offer. I'm like, oh, sweet. What's the offer? Right? Then I'm going to go into the body copy, and I try and keep it story driven if I can, but that's where I go. I go image, headline, body copy, read down the page, my call to action, and then my actual link call to action. All right. A year of agency struggle almost ended Trevor's agency dreams, but that all changed when he found an offer. People wanted the moment they hear it. That's a visual outcome, you guys. When I was writing this, I was thinking about the agency owner who's struggling to get customers and having like you did, Quinn, having a moment where all of a sudden it just clicked.
Yeah.
And with Trevor, this is really what happened to him. He had a moment where he was building an SMMA, okay, serving a lot of customers, saw UpHex, and he's like, bro, this is the thing. Did that, and then blew up his agency. Okay. See how he grew his agency from startup to SaaS Pro in this exclusive workshop. Click the link to learn more. All right. So that's the flow. Now we go to the lead form. This is where we can lose. This is where most people lose congruency, is when they take people from an ad away from the ad, whether that's to a lead form, which is what you should be doing, or a landing page. It doesn't matter. It's the same action. All right. What is your job when you send people to the lead form? Is to maintain clarity. I offered them, see how he grew his agency from startup to SaaS Pro in this exclusive workshop. I asked them for if they wanted the exclusive workshop. When they click learn more, it says, where should we send it? We want to see the offer and strategy Trevor used to achieve agency success. Complete the form below. By the way, we're going to go to the offer here in just a second, but I want to jump down to lead form. That's what should have been actually next. 40 words or less on the lead form. Okay. And you want to achieve a completion rate of 10 to 20%. 10%, that means that's the minimum. If you go over 20%, now I don't know if you agree with this, Quinn. If you go over 20%, your lead quality is not going to be great. And the way to achieve potentially better lead quality is to apply friction, which you can do by adding a longer form, a longer lead form. Okay. But at the end of the day, you want them, if it's clear what you're offering in the ad, you want to just make that straight, like just make it super clear. Clarity equals conversion. Okay. Now, here's what I have here. You want to first achieve this metric, this 10 to 20% with a short form. And what I mean by that is, here's the thing you want. Give me your name, phone number, email. Click submit. That's it. That is a short lead form. I don't have an example of a long lead form, but after you've achieved that with the short lead form, just go, don't increase the word count, or in other words, don't increase this part. Just ask more questions on the lead form.
Yeah.
Right? You can apply friction to the right person by doing this. Now, I know you, in talking to you, you have a short version and a long version on your lead forms on both, right?
Yeah, I have for my templates, I have, yeah, just address, name, email, phone, and then I have a long one with like probably 3 or 4. I make a multiple choice though. That's
Yep.
what I do just to kind of make
Get the
it
people,
simple.
get the
Yeah.
age, get the prospect engaged. That's it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And give them like a structure to like, until you get this stuff really dialed in and you're experimenting, like you really should try to create a simple process for them to be able to answer versus like, you do this free text box and you're asking some open-ended thing. It's like they stop just moving versus like give them the multiple choice, like to
Yep.
select. So it's just easy. Like, oh,
Easy.
boom, boom.
Easy. I love it. So one more time, guys. Step 3 is don't break the ad flow. Okay. So in other words, the image is number 1. The headline builds on top of the image. The ad copy builds on top of the headline. And then the call to action leads them to the actual clarity that they want. And then they click submit. That is how an ad works. Okay. So memorize that and make sure that your ads don't jump around and don't, well, we want to add this and that and that. No, one message, one outcome. Okay.
Nice.
Offers. Now, offers are probably the most challenging part of your agency. Now, again, I'm going to say in the same breath, UpHex has a proven library of over 1,000 templates. You guys, whatever your niche is, 90% of this work is already done for you. Come over, learn this process, and do what Quinn did. Take it the rest of the 10% of the way and have a small library of ads that you can sell 1,000 times. But let's just go real quick over what an offer should look like. Number 1, who is the audience? We can't make a good offer if our audience is not specific enough. That's where we started this campaign, the ad itself, but nothing is going to work if that person is not specific enough. All right. Then we need to ask ourselves these questions. What are our prospects confused about? Okay. What would they like more clarity on? What are things that they've heard about maybe in the marketplace, but they don't quite understand it? Like people in your niche, they're like, wait, we can get a whole bunch of deals by using Facebook ads. What are their fixed ideas about your thing? Those beliefs will remain as objections unless you address them. Okay. And your offer creation can address those fixed ideas. What do they wonder about? What ultimately do they want? Okay. These are questions that you want to digest on behalf of your customer that will help you execute it really well. Okay. And then here, is the offer easy to understand? What's my offer on this? Exclusive workshop on how he did it. That's the offer. Okay. By the way, if you can like case study, if you're going B2B in your agency, Quinn, all I see you do is I got this outcome for a customer. Do you want to know how I did it? That is the name of the game for you, right?
Yeah, that's all I do. And I mean, I got leads as soon as I posted my last one, and
Yeah.
that's what works. And it's not hypey at all. Like I'm there kind of like this. Here's here's what we did, here's the
Yeah,
ad, here's the numbers. So yeah, show the outcome and just yeah, make it clear. Like if in the video or whatever, however you format it, they are going to see a case study or a workshop, however you want to frame it, like make it simple. And it takes work to simplify it and really, like shave it down to the core. But,
yeah,
people don't, like you said, they're not going to read every little thing you put and know all the context. They're going to see a few elements. Boom. Is it going to give them something they want? And they're going to click. Like,
that's right. And then here's one thing I put in massive bold letters. And I'll give you an example real quick, and then I'll try and drive home. Because this, I want to say this is probably the most important thing you need to learn with your advertising. Okay. Um, before I read this, I remember being an early agency and remember hearing, oh, I need to have an offer. And the dumbest thing I did was ask my customer what they wanted to offer,
yeah,
because your customers don't want to offer anything. They feel like marketing is magic words and that marketing will, like good marketing will just sell anything. Marketing is magic strategy. It's a strategy. And my favorite quote from my favorite marketer, Gary Bencivenga, he says, I tell marketers again and again, a gifted offer beats a gifted pen. Okay. And the reason I say don't sell the thing that you want, or in other words, you could be your client, right? Sell the thing that will sell your thing. And if I were to go to my customers, my chiropractors back in the day, and I'll be like, what do you want to offer? They're going to be like, well, we sell our adjustments for $60 an adjustment. I want to offer a $60 adjustment. Just write good words. That's what they want. People don't want to be sold. In fact, if you lead with that, you will repel people, and that is anti-marketing. That is not what marketing is there for. Okay. We'll go back to this. I'll use this as a core example. With UpHex, I want to sell more agencies to use my awesome tool. And I should just be able to show them this awesome feature that does this awesome thing. You, as an experienced agency owner, you saw UpHex and you were like, light bulb, right?
yeah.
So you saw that. But a newer agency, what they want,
They don't even know. Yeah, they may not even know.
they don't know.
Yeah.
So if I say, hey, launch Facebook ads in 30 seconds and they haven't been doing Facebook ads or any of that stuff, they're like, so what?
Mm,
Right? So
yeah.
what did I sell? I sold an outcome and an exclusive workshop. I'm going to tell you how this thing works.
Yeah.
That's what I sold first. If I sell that workshop, what I'm doing is I'm selling the thing that will sell UpHex. They'll learn, they'll get context. I'll have time to sit down with them and that's the thing that your customers don't understand too. It's like, I don't need to sell your thing before they get there. I need to sell a conversation. If you have a conversation with 10 people about back pain this week, isn't that better than having a conversation with one person about back pain this week? That's better. So, guys, if you identify the thing that sells the thing, you will not struggle to get customers. Quinn, if you, and it go, it, by the way, Quinn, you go get a whole bunch of friend requests. Go to his YouTube channel, go to his personal Facebook profile, and you will see screenshots of him saying, I just launched Google PPC campaign and got a new customer,
Yep.
a lead in 3 hours. You want to see how I did it? Yeah.
Same. Yeah. I committed my Facebook at one point to not be like, I just made it for business. And I mean, if you scroll back, like,
Yep.
I don't think there's anything other than we just got this lead or just closed this deal or just, some sort of here's my target client and we just got this result for them and I'll show you it for free. And that drives people to YouTube. And, I
Right.
really, get clients because I just show, like you said, I sell the thing or show the thing, which is like, they may not even know about ads or whatever, but if I show them how we're getting qualified
Yep.
off market appointments or deals, then I can show in there like this was the method we used, or and then I even show them like, and look how fast you can do it. Click, 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 and then it goes, right? So kind of the same thing, like sell the outcome and then
Sell the
show 'em-
outcome.
Yeah.
Sell the outcome, baby. That's all they want. They want outcomes, and they don't know what we know, right?
No.
So that's why you do it. I did want to provide some tactical. Now you'll notice this is like more B2B. Okay. In your agencies, you're going to serve, if you're serving chiropractors, for example, and you want to get knee patients for those chiropractors, I have identified two types of offers that make it kind of easy for me to sell the thing that sells the thing. So for example, a self-discovery offer. I once heard it in a conference. The guy got up, and this was kind of like a light bulb moment for me. He said, "What's the difference between a survey and a quiz?" I was like, "Aren't they the same thing?" And he said, "A survey, the data that you get from a survey is for the survey giver.
Mm.
A quiz, the outcome is for the quiz taker." And people all want to know more about themselves. That's why you have those stupid, "Hey, what's your zodiac sign?" or whatever. So diagnostic tests, quizzes, things that will reveal information, even on demand estimates, for example. People want to get an answer to a complexity they have without the threat of a sales call.
That's kind of actually what our hook is, where we will, there's some software I connected, this is a little more advanced, but basically homeowners can fill out our form and get a value, which it's not a like retail value, but we're investors, so we look for, we're not going to buy it at full price. So they can actually fill out the form and get a offer, an actual offer. So that's kind of a self-discovery thing where like, hey, I want to know what I could sell my house for without a realtor or whatever, and then they get an actual number.
Yeah, I'll give one more example. We used to do in the neuropathy niche. So neuropathy, for those of you who don't know, is when people have diabetic issues, their hands and their feet get really tingly. And if that goes for
Mm.
long enough, a lot of times they'll have to have them amputated.
Mm.
So that is something that they obviously want to avoid. And so when their hands start tingling, they are concerned. They're like, "How bad is this?" And so for one of my self-discovery offers, I talked about neuropathy and what happens if it digresses too far. And then I offered a thermal scan. Come in for a free thermal scan. And all that thermal scan did was show the heat temperature
Wow.
of their skin compared to a normal person, right? And it gave the doctor the opportunity to educate them based on where they are at and what the future looks like for them. And it did one thing for me. It advanced qualified prospects to more conversations with my customer. That's
That's
the
a
goal.
nugget right there if they didn't catch that.
That's it, baby. All right. And then a trial offer. A trial offer is just easy peasy, man. It's like, this is like a test drive. Try before you buy. If somebody wants like just I think Frank Kern calls it an ethical bribe, right? And it's like, hey, for example, when we did it with spinal decompression patients, it's like, come in and try 2 of these sessions on us, right? Well, what am I doing? I'm saying, hey, I have this unique solution. It's called spinal decompression. You can try 2 sessions. Now, it's a test drive because to actually reverse that condition, it's a whole package. It's going to include therapy. It's going to include this. It's going to include all these things. But I can do a little tiny thing and say, hey, here's this concession. And that one, by the way, so we offered spinal decompression. One of the reasons we did that was because people with neuropathy don't want spinal decompression. Who wants spinal decompression? Only people with back pain. That's it. Right? So you can really take a look at, and most of your customers don't deconstruct their services. And what I mean by that is even you as an agency owner, you don't deconstruct your services. You're like, "Oh, we do digital marketing." I'm sorry, break that down for me. What does that mean? Oh, well, we do an audience audit. We look at your company branding and profile. We do all of these things. You have to deconstruct all of the ingredients of what you do, because the outcome that you are promising is not based on one thing. It's based on a compilation of things.
Yeah.
Right. And you can take one of those things and offer it to a person, and that's enough to get an ethical bribe to get them in to your business, to talk business. All right.
Mhm.
And then once you've done that properly, you put that onto a lead form, and then you execute. You guys, I'll go through it real quick. It is have a niche audience, have a proven image hook, a visual hook that gets a 2% click-through rate. That's 20 people to stop. Then I want 10 people to click the call to action. And then if I do it right, of those 10 people who click, I'm going to get 1 to 2 people who submit their information. That's 10 to 20%. And that's going to build a qualified book of business for my customers that they will pay me for day in and day out, over and over and over and over. And as long as my customer profile, my sub niche is the same, I can clone that small ad library and create that one thing and sell it 1,000 times, 2,000 times, whatever. So, hey, buddy, dude, thanks for being here with me. I know this is a little bit longer one today, but bro, talk about some value bombs.
Value. Yeah, absolutely. You shared, I love the tactical at the end, because I think, yeah, I can get lost in idea, but yeah, breaking it down, and even I have some work to do. So
Awesome,
off
man.
of that.
Well, you guys go check out Quinn's YouTube channel. Do you have like a specific handle?
I think it's Quinn Nolan, like my name, just
Yeah.
straight. I think so.
Okay, so go check out his YouTube channel, subscribe to that. He drops, and even if you're not in real estate, as an agency, just watch what he's doing and model it, because he's doing it right. He's keeping it simple. He's thinking over the long term. And because of that, he has an audience of raving fans. You'll never be out of business, right?
That's nice of you to say. Thank you.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Quinn, thanks for doing this with me, buddy. I appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, see ya.